Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Welcome. We are here live tonight. And so come and join us, invite others and tag others to join us. We're going to wait a few seconds to make sure that you have an opportunity to join me. I have my special guest tonight, and I'm going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself and share a little bit about herself and what she does. And we're going to have some real talk tonight about real love. So we're going to wait a few seconds for people to come in and join us. I'm going to check my page, as Candee, to make sure that I'm live on my page. So give me a few seconds. Let me go and double check on my phone to make sure that we are there and we are visible. Okay, so it's public on my page. Great, 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 great. And I want to invite everyone to join us. Let us know where you are coming in from. I see someone has joined the broadcast. Post your name, and you can give StreamYard, you can give them permission to have access to your account so that your profile page can come up and your name can be showed as well. So we invite you to give StreamYard, just click the link at the top of this broadcast. There's a link, there's a StreamYard link that you can click that will allow you to give them access to your profile name and page. And then I'd like for you to share this broadcast to your page. Share and invite others, tag, share, and like and tag. So we're going to take a few seconds and wait for you to join us. And hopefully you have some questions as well, because our format tonight is going to be very casual. We're going to have real talk about real love, and we're taking real questions. Okay. God bless you, daughter Nicole. Please share this to our groups and share it to, I hope that your friends or you're on Suddenly Professional page so that you can share it to S Candee page as well. So welcome, welcome all. Please let us know that you're there. Like the page, the broadcast, share it, tag your friends. This is the month of love, and we want to have an engaging conversation tonight about real talk and real love. And if you have questions, we invite you to post them right here on the live broadcast. S Candee is a professional, and we are ready to serve you tonight. We're ready to have a real conversation, real talk about real love. And so I do believe that, with all that's going on in the world, that we really got to prioritize our mental health. And I believe that my little slogan is that mental health is our soul's wealth. And so there's no wealth without your health, without mental health. And so it is my honor to have with us tonight a special guest tonight. She is highly, highly, highly equipped to talk about mental health issues and wellness and love, and because she's a licensed professional counselor, and she's a Christian counselor. So bless you. Welcome, welcome, Dana. Good to see you. God bless you, Minister Harriet. Oh, I'm so glad that you're able to join us. We are excited to have our special guests here with us tonight. And I want you to share this broadcast to your page, Beauty God's Way, and make sure that we get it out to the Game Changer Nation page and Divine Diamonds Ministry page, and also to your personal page. So before we get started, and before I introduce our special guest tonight, let me just read quickly the word of God. God bless you, daughter Marcella. God bless you. In First Corinthians, the 13th chapter, I just want to read a few scriptures because it talks about love being the greatest gift to mankind. And so I do believe that love is the greatest force in the universe. God bless you. Welcome, welcome, Reverend Pitts. Great to see you, woman of God. And so in First Corinthians, the 13th chapter, around the 4th verse, I'm just going to read a few pivotal scriptures here. It says that love suffers long and it is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself or puff itself up. It does not behave rudely, unruly. It does not seek its own. It is not provoked. Love thinks no evil. It does not rejoice in iniquity or sin. Love believes all things. Love hopes all things. And love endures all things. And then the 8th verse at the top of it says, love never fails. I'd like for someone to post that in the chat tonight. Love never fails. And with love being so powerful, you scratch your head sometimes and wonder, how is it so complicated or difficult for some couples or individuals to really walk this walk called love? And I'm just going to keep it real tonight. If you have any questions, please post them. Welcome, welcome, Minister Lonita. Thank you for posting. Love never fails. And so love is healing. Love is giving. Love is an action word. And with this being the month of February, we talk about love, and February represents all things love. And so tonight, I want to bring to you a professional friend of mine. She's a client of mine, and I want her to just share a little bit about her background and how she came into her Christian professional counseling services. And so let's just have Miss S. Candee Winfield to just share about who she is and what she does. And let's welcome her with some love tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me as your special guest. I'm so honored to be here with you this evening. Thank you. Thank you. I am, as you said, a professional counselor, and I have been in the counseling field for almost 30 years, which is hard to believe. And interesting, my path to counseling was a second career, actually. I was working in video production, but I was also an ordained deacon. And in my role as a deacon, I was often put in counseling situations. And one particular situation, I'm not going to go into at length, but it made me wonder if counseling, and particularly biblical counseling or counseling from a biblical perspective, was needed in addition to prayer and working with an individual. And short story is, we had a member who was delusional, had a delusional disorder, and she believed that a deacon was going to marry her, and she planned a wedding, sent out invitations, had bridesmaids, hired everybody that you hire, caterer, flowers, all of that. And we could not convince her that this was not happening. And on the day of the wedding, we actually had to post security to turn people away because people had come from other states for this wedding. And it struck me and just grieved my heart so, because we having real talk here tonight, right?
Right, right, right.
The deacon that she was infatuated with, I was also infatuated with. And so it struck me that that could have been me. What if that was me? And at that point was when I really wondered, okay, I want to become a counselor because I can counsel you, but I need more. There was another skill set that I needed because we had prayed for her, we had laid hands on her, we had done everything in the power that we could, but she still believed she was going to marry him. And because she had a bona fide mental illness, there was other interventions that were needed. And so that sent me on the quest to find a program, a clinical psychology program that also combined biblical principles and theology. And I found that school in Atlanta. So that's actually how I got to Atlanta. I was, of course, supposed to go back, but that kind of didn't happen. After you come to Atlanta and you leave, I was in Michigan. You leave the snow and the cold, it was kind of hard to go back. So that was my journey into counseling. As a result, as I said, I've been in counseling for over 30 years. And I love counseling. I love couple work. I work primarily with adults, male and female. Do a lot of work in women's issues, trauma, but kind of where I love to work and where my gifting is working with couples. So being that this is the month of February, I'm running and just doing a lot for couples. Couples being the basis and the root of our families. And there's a lot of couple relationships that are not really working. And so I wanted to really reach out this month and offer services so that couples will come in and get their love right. Kind of that was one of our other things. Get your love thing right, because many times it's just not working. And so that was kind of my journey and path into counseling.
Wow, wow. So you really had a real tangible experience
Yeah,
that catapult you into a different direction. So this is purpose driven for you. This is
absolutely.
real work for you. This is not something you're doing just to make another dollar, but there has to be, when we go through a painful situation, oftentimes it's purpose in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
did catapult me into what I believe is where God wanted me to be. Because again, I was in a whole nother field. And the other thing that He did is I was working as a freelance production person and producer, and I was working in Detroit. And my work was with the automotive company, so I was producing commercials and doing health tapes and things like that. And it was at the time when the automotive industry went belly up. So I was laid off, didn't have a job. I freelanced. That dried up. And that's when I finally said, okay, well, let me see uh, if I can go to school. And everything that I did to prepare and move towards school, it just happened. It just flowed. Even to getting an airline ticket to fly for the interview for graduate school. When I came here and looked for an apartment, the apartment that I saw was the name of my church. So I said, that's where I need to live. And that's where I ended up living. So, God orchestrated it all and it just happened for me. There was no, I even remember the computer. I didn't have a computer. And I don't know if any of you remember Service Merchandise Store, long, long time ago. Service Merchandise had a sale on computers, and I can't remember how much it was, but whatever it was, I had enough to get it. So everything happened to allow me to transition and to do and move into what God had for me. And so here we are 30 years later, and I'm still and loving it and know that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. So it's an awesome, awesome journey. It's been an awesome journey.
Oh, wow. Wow. That sounds just like God. He
It's
makes it
just like him.
happen. He
Yeah,
connects people, it's amazing how God can order your steps. We just need to be willing to be led by him. And when the book dries
absolutely.
up, then we know that there's a change that must take place because
Yeah,
God always provides for his vision. So
right.
let me just kick this off tonight. I had a conversation earlier today with a family member, and I was asking, when are the girls planning to get married? Our girls are dating and they're in relationships and
Mhm.
starting families. And I'm checking in on one of my loved ones, and I'm asking the question, okay, is anybody talking about marriage? And lo and behold, the family responded by saying that the young people, the girls that our loved ones, they're in their 20s and their 30s, early 30s, they said, "Oh, mom, nobody does that anymore. People don't get married anymore. That we
Mhm.
don't do that." And that's the first time, as Candee, that I heard that. And I was a little, and this just happened a few hours ago. I was
Wow.
a little taken back because as a leader, as an apostle in the Lord's church, I didn't know that was the mindset or the conversation, at least, with the young people today. And I said, well, that doesn't add up because marriage has not only spiritual blessings and biblical blessings, it has legal blessings. At the end of the day, you don't really have authority, you don't have
Mhm.
clout, you don't have the last word in a legal matter if you don't own the name, if you're not married, if there's
Yeah.
not some legal contract in the court of law, you're not recognized. And I was scratching my head like, oh, this is going to be a great topic for S Candy tonight, because I didn't give any full documented kind of response, because this is family. We were just keeping it real. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, we just can't just play house, because the strong winds will blow called life. Adversity will come, challenges will rise up. And if you haven't invested in it as far as commitment with a legal binding
Yeah.
sanction of the institution of marriage, then you're not
You
going to
can just walk
win.
away. Yeah.
You can just walk away.
Mhm.
So I know I have some mothers and some parents on here tonight. I just want to put that out there and get some dialogue started here, because I am not quite sure how to direct this type of response to the ultimate soul satisfying end called marriage. And I understand that divorce is at an all-time high, and that I know that has to be kicking in. I get that. But if you are playing house and have set up a house, you have kids, there has to be more than just living together. S Candy, I'm gonna throw that at you tonight.
Yeah. It's interesting, but I think that is often the mindset of our young people. There's no commitment, there's no long term. I'm in it as long as I'm quote unquote getting my needs met, or you're doing what I want you to do. It's kind of a contract. What's in it for me? And they don't think of it as a long-term commitment that we're going to ride the storms, we're going to go through adversity and traversity, and we're still going to be together. It is as long as it's working for me, I'll be in it. But as soon as it's not working for me, I'm out. And so that's why we do have to talk about what real love is and why it has to come with commitment, and also talking about what holds it together. And that's why the communication in the relationship is so important, because communication is your glue. And so when you come to those points where you feel like, okay, I'm out, I'm done, I'm throwing my hands up, there has to be a dialogue. It has to be the ability to have the dialogue to get through that. And that doesn't exist. Um, People are selfish. When it doesn't feel good, I'm done. I'm out. I can go to the next one. And so we really have to teach and show that no, it's more than that, and there's more benefits. When you think about what you just said, and that one of the reasons God created marriage was for procreation and to establish family and stability, they don't care about that. They move on. They have, yeah. So much needed real talk about what love is, what marry, why we marry, and what's required to hold a marriage together. And again, it's about communication. Many times they move into these relationships, connections, without even establishing why we're here. And they don't have that dialogue. They don't have that communication. They don't even talk. They don't even know what their needs are in the relationship, which is why it's so easy after they're in it to realize, oh, I don't want to be here. Unless they enter for the wrong reasons. And so, again, teaching, even in my premarital counseling, is one of the a series that we go through, helping them to identify what's important. What are your emotional needs? When I ask sometimes what your emotional needs are in a relationship, people can't even tell me. And so, yeah, and that's why we enter into relationship, to get our emotional needs met. And so
Wow.
you really, really have to understand why marriage is necessary and why we're created to be in relationship. And there's a lot of work to do, because again, young people, unfortunately, not all of them, because I've did premarital counseling with a couple in their 20s. So it's not everyone, but there's a big majority that actually did not grow up with a model of marriage, long-term marriage. Never saw a marital relationship that had longevity. So they think, I can go from, one of my pastors said, from flower to flower, populating and pollinating each flower, and it's okay. And it's not. And so there is work to be done in terms of illustrating and demonstrating healthy relationships, healthy marriage, long-term marriages, because they do work. But there are skills and tools that are necessary. And so again, that's what I want to provide this month, are some tools and skills to make your marriage work and to allow you to feel good being in your relationship. Because when relationships work, it's a wonderful thing. It feels good and you want to stay. And you're going to work through the hard times, because hard times are going to come, storms are going to come. And rather than, okay, I'm done because it got rough, you have to have the tenacity and the skills to kind of work through it. And that's often when counseling is necessary.
Well, let me just take a couple of steps back, because you said a lot there and I've made some notes. Real love comes with commitment. And I, in my opinion and in my belief, I feel, as a woman, I'm talking to all the women tonight, I feel like without, let me just back up, that security is an important value for most women. And I feel like when you get into playing house and living together, that you're really selling yourself short, because you don't have no real
Mhm.
backup called commitment. And if we really be true to ourselves and understand ourselves as women, you know, we know, and it's not a negative thought, it's not a condescending thought, but for women, security is an important core value. And so I personally would have a problem loving a man and selling myself short without knowing that there's a real commitment on paper,
Mhm. Mhm.
legal commitment, spiritual commitment, along with all of the physical advantages of a relationship. So I just see women, particularly sometimes younger and older. I'm not leaving out the older women,
Right.
the
Right.
seasoned, the mature. I'm not leaving them out, but you play
Mhm.
yourself short. And so at the end of the day, I would have to ask you, you know, are you worthy of the honor of that man committing to you? Where
Mhm.
is your self-worth and your self-value? You know, is it a top priority for you? Do you love yourself enough to get respect? Do you love yourself enough to hold that person accountable
Mhm.
because you're trusting? You are, as a woman, we nurture, we pour out, we give out. You know, we take care, we undergird, we pray, we intercede, we build the house. A
Yes,
man might buy a house, but it's a woman that makes it a home. So
that's correct.
I can't, in my right, stable, mature Christian mind, ever see it being anything than you selling yourself short of the full blessing, of the full benefit. And I might be stepping on somebody's toes tonight, and you can inbox me, so we can go in and get further clarification. You can set up an appointment with S. Candy. But this is just what's on my heart tonight. I don't want you to play yourself out of your position as a queen. I don't want you to play yourself out of position as the beautiful woman, the apple of God's eye. You were created to be a helpmate, but you have some tangible values that you cannot overlook, and you can't shortchange, and you can't compromise. I remember
Right.
asking my uncle one day, when I was a young girl, like, why you choose not to get married? And he said, well, why should I pay for the milk if I can get the milk free?
Yeah.
Hello. I'm gonna
And
stop
I
right
think
there.
that's what women have to realize, that we actually have the power, because if we all, but young and old, knew our worthiness and your value, and had a standard where you did not allow that and you didn't go for it, then he would have men would have to step up. But because women will, well, let me let him move in, and then maybe we'll get married. And many think that allowing a man to move in, because sometimes they're allowing the man to move into their home or living together, will cause a man to marry them. And that is so not true. And so, again, if you know your value and you have a standard and you honor God in that walk, if 80% of them did, it would only be 20% that would shack. But it's not. It's probably 90% that will shack and only 10% that have a stand. So, just as you said, why would I buy the milk if I can get it free? So we have to know the power that we have. And I say that to young women all the time. He can only do what you allow him to do. Have a standard. And I shared with you this week or last week, how had woman in that exact situation was getting ready to move, let him move in. And I asked, why are you letting him move in and not married? Is he going to marry you? When is he going to marry you? Took a minute, but long story short, she realized he had no plans to marry her. He would not commit. He would not even commit to a proposal. And bless her heart, she she let him go after 5 years. They had been together 5 years. So we can do it, and women do it. But there's enough that do not. So they don't have to. They don't step up, because they can go from flower to flower. And so we have to take our power back and realize that we have the power. We can set the standard. And we have to
Oh,
begin to do that. We have
wow.
to know our value and worth in God.
Amen. Amen. Look, we got some great comments as Candy. I like
Okay.
what Reverend Pitt says. Many are in situations instead of relationship. Oh, come on. She said something right there. Oh,
Yeah. Well,
that
there's
that
a
that
new word. There's a new word. It's now, they don't even call it a relationship now. They call it a situationship. Yeah, that's a new word. They
oh
was I'm in a
wow.
situationship. Yeah, she's absolutely right. I've heard that.
Oh, wow. That's something new for me tonight. Okay, the
Yeah.
old school is learning something tonight. Oh,
Yeah. There's a situationship. That's a new term.
oh, I'd rather be in a situation all by myself. I want to be in a
Exactly.
situation with other people too.
A
Because my godmother
situationship.
taught me, she said you could do bad by yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Yeah.
ah, oh
Yeah.
my
That's a
God.
new
So
thing.
what let's see the other comments. Um Lolita says, I believe some people in a marriage not understanding the work that it takes to make it successful.
Yeah.
That's where your premarital counseling comes in, right?
Absolutely. And marital counseling, couple counseling, um, premarital counseling, and just for clarification, most couples, unfortunately, uh, put premarital counseling the last thing on the checklist that I got to do. And so they've already uh, put money and invested money in the wedding, maybe put money down on a banquet hall, bought dresses, hired a caterer, done all those things. Oh, we got to go to premarital counseling. And then they call and I'll say, well, when's the wedding? The wedding might be 30 days from the date of the call. And I say, oh, I can't do premarital counseling with you because my premarital counseling takes at least 60 days. Oh, but we get married. So we need, I said, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you. So people need to understand premarital counseling is designed when you get to the point that you think you want to propose to someone, that you call to do premarital counseling, because that process helps you to determine whether this is the person I need to marry.
So hold up. So you're saying before they make a decision to get married, that they should have premarital counseling to help them to make the best decision.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that
Oh
is
my
not
God.
how
Oh no,
most
it don't
people,
happen like that. They
no,
say
most,
yes and then they go get counseling.
yeah. And so when red flags come up in premarital counseling, guess what?
It's too late.
It's too late. Yeah, because they go ahead and get married, but then a year later, it's not working. And sometimes they even divorce. And so, again, understanding premarital counseling is to help you decide, is this the person I should marry? My premarital counseling is very intense. Like I said, it takes typically 60 days or even longer. Before they even come in for their first session, they take a online inventory that looks at their relationship in terms of strength and growth areas. And it evaluates about 16 different areas, from communication, of course, because that's always a big one, finances, family of origin issues, parenting, intimacy, their backgrounds, all of these different things. And we walk through that inventory. They get a feedback report. And as we go through that, so many things come out that they never thought of, never thought to ask sometimes. But it can be very, very insightful for couples. And I have never had a couple that did not benefit from it. I've had couples that realize, oh, we need to put the brakes on. And I've had couples that really, really benefited. I just graduated a couple last week, and they said, and I'm paraphrasing, but one of the things they said is that now when we have an issue, we can talk about it and laugh about it and keep going. We just keep going. In fact, just last week we had a big disagreement, but we talked it out and we ended up going grocery shopping afterwards. That has never happened before, because usually, in a intense conflict, somebody shuts down, they don't talk for a couple of days, and things don't get resolved. And so they had acquired the skills to be able to have disagreements, but have enough dialogue, be able to compromise and negotiate and come out with a win-win rather than a win-lose. And that's the goal, is teaching people how to have a win-win in your relationship and not a win-lose.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Linda Jamila made a important comment. She said most young ladies don't think that way, and I think that's in reference to my comment about Christian values. Maybe due to TV and celebrity news, women believe they can do it all, and they can move on if it ends. Non or not understanding Christian values. So, can we really move on with a peace of mind, with clarity? What's your take on that, as Candy?
Well, again, when you have cohabitated, you've given a lot of yourself away. And I think, again, there's no understanding of what is happening spiritually. When you are cohabitating and playing house and doing all of those things, there's some things that you've given away that you're not going to get back. Um, I agree that women are influenced by television, by music, by things in our popular culture, which is why we have to. And the other part of that, again, is sometimes they have never seen a long-term marital relationship work. And so they expect it not to last. They go into it thinking and believing that it's not going to last. So again, when the trouble arises, okay, that's it. I knew it was coming. I'm done. And so um, all of those factors kind of play into why relationships just don't last. But yeah, there's a lot that you give away, that you give up. We have to remember we were created to be in relationship. And so there are things that will happen in terms of, you know, what you receive from your spouse and from your significant other. There are levels that you'll never achieve alone. And when you connect with the person that God has for you, it's going to bring out something in you that no one else can. It's going to allow you, and there's just a merging, and it helps you to operate in your gifting. Everybody, of course, is not designed to be married. Everybody's not going to be married. And that's just because there's just not enough men, in terms of the ratio of women to men, particularly here in Atlanta. There are just not enough marriageable men. You can marry, but again, is it going to be a God designed marriage? Is what comes out of that marriage what God designed marriage to be? Probably not. And again, these are those situationships that occur. So there's a lot of work that we have to do in the body.
There is a lot of work. I like what you said. I want women to understand that if you're going to give yourself away, if you're going to invest, in terms of situation, relationship, if you're going to cohabit and live together, think about what you are giving up and giving out. Think about, especially as young women, you can't get your time back.
Mhm.
You know, you can't get your youth back. Once it's gone, it's gone. So who are you really sleeping with? Are you sleeping with your best friend? Or are you sleeping with the enemy?
Mhm.
You have to really ask yourself these questions long term. What's in the family bloodline
Mhm.
that's going to really affect your children because it's going to be in their DNA.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things to think about when you are in a relationship and you move forward with it. Is this someone that you want to just be in a temporary relationship with? Then you're not going to get long term results. At the end of the day, we have been given a body, a mind, gifts,
Mhm.
talents to prosper from. And if
Absolutely.
you're in a relationship where they're just taking from you and they're not adding to you, it's going to end up not profitable for you. It's one thing to be young and beautiful and independent, but I can tell you that's a short window. You're only 21 one time,
Mhm.
and the 30s and 40s come real fast. And so you got to think, my sisters, you got to think long term. When you wake up in the morning, do you want to look at this person 20 years down the road? So think about your self value. Think about how precious you are, how your mother, your father invested in you, paid for you to go to college, help you to get your first car, help you to do what you do, babysit and do all the things that parents and grandparents and nanas do, and moms, just for a situation.
And
Because
what
you have
contributes
children
to,
coming behind you. You got children coming behind you.
yes,
You're not
yes.
just living for yourself. You're living for the next generation as well. Go ahead, that's Candee.
Yeah. The other thing that occurs in these situationships and is that it becomes role reversal. That, you know, we talk about when it ends, what you have given up. You have given up your femininity. You have given up your role as a woman because you most of the time have operated in that masculine role. You're the one going to work, you're the one paying the bills, you're the one taking care of the household. That most of these situations, he is not in his role. It's role reversal in these situations. It's total role reversal.
And so if
Yes,
you
but
got
you've
a
given up a whole
man,
lot.
okay, if you got a man that loves you, let's flip the script on that. Because there's a lot of women holding it down. Okay. And because of
Mhm.
economics and institutional racism, I get all of that. However, on the flip side of that, if you got a man that loves you, that's providing for you, that's working, that's putting food on the table and paying for bills, why not get married?
Yeah, because
What's
they
the
refuse to
real
commit.
holdback?
They
What
they
are you
refuse to
scared of?
commit because
Are you
something else
scared of
might come
commitment?
along better.
Because something else might come along better. So they think the grass is greener on the other side.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
And they
you
want
wait
to
till
be
you.
able to go. Many times, you know, this is going on a lot too, is quote unquote these open relationships
What do you mean by open?
where she knows there's someone else, another woman. So it's not like he's cheating. She knows he's going where he's going and that there is someone else. Sometimes, yeah, it's a lot going on out here.
Will
It's a lot.
somebody please raise a standard?
Yeah. Real talk is there's such a thing as an open bed.
And what do you mean?
That in the home, in the marital home, they have an open bed, meaning you can invite somebody into our bed. So again, there's a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. And this is
Well,
again because women don't know their value.
don't know their value.
Yeah.
So
You
Reverend
know,
Pitts
I
says they
said
don't.
to excuse me, I had to say to a woman, you need to know, find out where your no is. You need to know. It's some things you need to say no to. And that's one of them.
Say no to the stupid stuff.
To the student, yeah, because that's real stupid.
Say no to being used and played.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes, there is no no.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, Michelle. Self-worth is the bottom line. How much
Yes.
do you really value yourself?
Yeah.
Because if you value yourself, you can't play the side chick that Reverend Pitts is referring to. I'd
Mhm.
rather be a woman of worth in my bed by myself than be the chick on the side while another woman's on the other side.
Yes. Yeah. And so again, we see these queen t-shirts and queen hats and have no idea what that means and the honor that a queen has and how she esteems herself.
Okay, Linda says it's not all the men. It's not all the men. It can be the woman doing the man's role, and a man wants to simply please her. What, please her, just allowing her to do the man's role? Well, he's not a real man.
Right. Because even if he is not in a position, he's making things happen versus being okay with her in that role. He's still out there hustling, making, whether he's working 3 jobs, he's going to do those things to get to where he needs to be and not necessarily be okay allowing her to hold everything down. He's dropping her off to work, he's keeping the car, and he's going back home and playing video games. That's not okay. Yeah, that's not okay. And that happens. And so, yeah, particularly in a marriage, you may have to hold it down for a while. But
Right?
if
We get
if
that.
you're having to do that, he is also doing everything in his power to get back into the position of being a provider and taking care of his household. But often there's times of role reversal, but he shouldn't be comfortable and just sit back and allow you to do that. That's what I'm speaking of. And that's because
Yes,
that's out of
yes,
order. That's out of order. God is a God of order.
yes, yes. It's out of order. Shelby said those type of men let the women think she's in charge because she's footing everything. She's providing, I guess, for everything. So she's in charge. But really, she's being played. And he knows it.
Yeah, I
And
don't
I
know
like
about
Reverend
being.
Pitt said, no accountability and no responsibility. We as women have to know who we are, appreciate our self-worth. And when you know who you are, then you will know when somebody's using you. You will know when you're being played. You will know when you're being disrespected. Disrespect is not always just being cussed out. Disrespected is being used and manipulated and controlled.
Mhm,
A man was created to provide.
mhm.
It's in his DNA. And if he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing in his role, then there's an issue there that you can't solve. He has to get professional counseling, deliverance, salvation, and
All of it,
healing.
all of that. Yes, yes. And I think women also have to know and understand how codependency plays into some of these situations. Codependency being, you take responsibility and accountability for things that are not yours. And
Come
you
on
do
now, say
too.
that again. Say it again. Say it again.
That codependency is when you take responsibility and accountability for things that are not yours. You're doing way too much. And so you do take over. You do take charge. But you're out of order because that's not your responsibility and it's not something you should be accountable for. And so you become responsible. He makes you feel guilty when you don't, and so you still go ahead and do it. And so that's again work she needs to do because she's got to address her own codependency. Again, codependency comes out of low self-esteem. Don't feel worthy. And so you're doing to feel good, to feel valued. And you think that if you do, then that makes you worthy. You feel accepted. You do it to be accepted and approved of and valued. And so many times these situations are sprung out of codependent behaviors and codependency. And so that's individual work she needs to do, because she will over and over and over again get in a relationship where that occurs, because codependency is a way of relating. It's how you show up in the relationship.
Yes, I like what Minister Harriet said. Miss Winfield and Apostle, you are tilting the ground, and we have to know we are good ground. Yeah, you have to know that you are a prized possession, sisters and daughters and women. You have to know that you are the prize that men are designed to hunt for, to look for, to seek, to go after, to pursue, and grab a hold of it, cherish it, value it, love it, protect, and provide.
Yes.
That was God's design for man and woman. And when we come together, then we co-create and we create and populate. It's a beautiful thing, as you said, as Candee, in the beginning of the opening of this broadcast. But we have to teach our daughters and teach our young girls, teach your grandchildren young, that she's a princess. And she's going to bloom into a queen. And she's got standards of self-respect, self-love,
and self-control.
And self-control. Oh, I like that. We can wait for the right thing.
Yes.
We're the prize.
We're the prize.
Oh, I love that.
You know, that also goes back to and what kind of I guess causes that is the father wound. You know, women growing up and not having a father, because when a father is present in the home, one of the things that he does is he instills self-esteem in her. That when you're a daddy's girl, you are, how can I say it? You are everything. You come up, well, let me say it like this. When a father is doing his job, he makes the difference between a woman. I'm writing. I don't know if you can see that. Coming out with mistrust or mistrust. You see that?
Yes, yes.
The difference. When he's not there, this is what occurs. She doesn't trust. But when he is there and instills self-esteem and does his job, she comes out as mistrust. She knows how to trust. And she can determine someone who is trustworthy because he's shown her. He's been there. He's reliable. He's dependent. He's consistent. But when he's not there, she's mistrust. And so she's comfortable with him not keeping his word, not operating in integrity, because that's familiar.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
And so that contributes to, you know, some of the dynamics that we're seeing here, because a lot of our girls grow up and their father is just not present in their life. But when he is there, she and he's teaching her, she know, okay, no, like you said, I'm not dealing with that foolishness. That's foolishness. You don't know who I am. And she can walk away. But when it's mistrust, that's familiar and comfortable, unfortunately.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That
So
mistrust
again,
and
we
mistrust.
need our family, we need relationships to work. So he's there because he has a role to play.
Wow. 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 That right there was money in the bank. Mistrust versus mistrust. I
Mhm.
love it. Somebody
Mhm.
post that in the chat. That is going to really sum up tonight's dialogue and conversation. You know, if you have any final questions, I really appreciate the feedback. This is good. We could
Mhm.
stay here all night.
Yeah, I
Oh my
love it.
goodness, this is so juicy because we really need to have these more of these kind of conversation. And I would like to even maybe get a panel of young people, women, you know.
Mhm.
I like to get
Mm.
a panel together
Mhm.
and let's really go at it because we've gotten a lot of good comments tonight. Linda Jamila says, unfortunately, there are a lot of bossy women who don't respect a good man, and it's their way or the highway. Well,
Mhm.
what you got to say about that, counselor?
That's true. And so they don't know how to be gentle because men need a gentle spirit. And if she is, because men are warriors, right? Men, God made men with warrior spirits. They conquer, they go after, they're hunters. And so when she shows up with that same spirit, it's going to be a clash and it's not going to work. And sometimes that is again because a father wasn't there, and if she grew up with a household of women who had been mistreated by men, what she heard is, "Don't you let no man," and so that's how she shows up in the relationship. She shows up uh, with conflict and with challenge rather than knowing how to use her influence to win him. Because when a man loves you, he'll do anything. But it's again, it's how you approach him. And most don't know how to be gentle and kind and provide peace. Men like peace too. They want peace. They desire peace. And when you come with that conflict and toughness, it often does not provide for peace because you're challenging. You can't he can't tell you anything. You have to have the last word. It's tit for tat. And that's another dynamic that I teach about all the time. And I call it being in the boxing ring. And in a couple relationship, when they get to tit for tat, because again, things don't get resolved. Uh, you're not doing what I want you to do. So when you ask me to do something, I'm not going to give it to you. Uh, what you ask or what you need and what you want may be absolutely 100% okay. But because I didn't get what I wanted last time, I'm not going to do it for you. And so now it's tit for tat. And I call that being in the boxing ring because every time you come together for whatever it is, and again, it could be something that is absolutely okay. If I feel like I lost the last time, I'm going to win this time. I'm going to win this round. But what you don't realize, and what couples don't realize, is being in that boxing ring and tit for tat causes the demise to the relationship because that just doesn't feel good. And again, we enter relationships to feel good and to get our needs met. And so we think we're winning. That's that win again, but that's a win lose. That's not a win win. And so
That's not a
learning,
win-win.
that's not a win win, that's a win lose. And win lose always leads to the demise of the relationship. And so
That's
women have to
good.
understand, yeah, being that, you ain't gonna tell me nothing, and who, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to learn how to be a gentle kind, peaceful spirit. You can get anything you want when a man loves you, when you show up like that.
Wow. Wow. You know, when a man loves a woman, not only will you know it, but other people will know it too.
Yes.
I have a goddaughter, and I love her dearly. And her husband has shown her so much love through their 20 plus years together that I was touched by his love
Mm-hmm.
for my goddaughter. And as a result of that, I claimed him to be my godson
Mm-hmm.
because he just shows his love and he walks in his manhood with a sense of purpose to provide for his family. And I love that. Everybody knows that he loves his
Loves her.
wife.
Yes. Yes.
And that's when it's a win-win. She works because she chooses to work,
Mm-hmm.
but he got her. He got her for real, for real.
Yeah.
So I want to salute him tonight,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because when a man loves a woman, I feel Aretha Franklin right about now.
Yes.
Oh my God. When a man loves a woman and when
Yes.
a
Yes.
woman loves a man, there's just nothing, no
It's a beautiful
greater.
thing. It's a beautiful
It's a
thing.
beautiful
And it
thing.
can work. It can work.
And it
And
can
again, the
work.
communication is what holds it together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so communication, as you said, is the glue. So we got to have family talk, real family talk. Forget about the flat screen TV on the wall. Turn it off, power down, and talk face to face, eye to eye. No
Right.
FaceTime, no duo time, real time.
Real talk, real time. Absolutely.
You know, and let your love just shine, that your children will say, you know, Pop loved my mom.
Yes.
And they got a role model. And talk about standards, establish standards.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we do, no matter what the world is doing, no matter what the Kardashians is doing. This is what we do, no matter what the Housewives of Atlanta is doing. This
Right.
is what we do. Because you want your children to be blessed. And God says that when a man finds a wife, he finds favor. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to be blessed because he's doing it in order and he's
Right.
doing it right according to the way that it was established.
It's true. It's true.
Don't get me started. I'm telling you, I want to bless the woman of God from Canada. Olalinka is on with us tonight.
Oh,
And she
amen.
says that this conversation is God's heartbeat in this season. Come on now.
Wow.
It's always time for love.
Yes.
And it's
And we
always
need
in
love.
season. And
We
we
need
need
love.
love.
We got to learn how to love each other at home so that we can love when we leave. There's no love at home. So when people leave, there's no love.
Well, Reverend Pitts got a big sense of humor as Candee. She said technology has made many socially dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm. Because even on a date, I have been out to dinner and look at a couple and they're both scrolling on the phone, sitting across the table from each other. So that's true. No conversation.
Well, you know, my daughter Denise is here from Seattle, Washington, and she know I'm gonna keep it real. You know, the phones have to go off when you're on a date. Come on now.
Yeah.
You have to allow yourself to really be transparent, to be present in the moment, to be vulnerable. You know, I heard someone say earlier in the comments that courting or engagement is to make a determination if you want to move forward with marriage. Well, you got to look in
Absolutely.
each other's eyes, because the eyes are the gateway to the soul. And if they're looking at the phone, they're not looking at you.
Come on.
And so,
Dating,
go ahead.
I was going to say, dating is for data collection, period. That's what dating is for. Data
Come on
collection.
now.
You are
Say that
collecting
again.
data.
Dating is for data collection.
Yes. You should be asking questions and gathering information. Again, to determine, do I
Okay.
want to move forward?
That right there, okay, that's a winner. So let me ask you a question. If they are hesitant and they skate around you collecting data because they feel like you're asking too many questions, how do you, what is that about, and how do you deal with that?
Well, again, in the beginning, and this happens all the time with women. You go on a date and you talk. You give up way too much information. He's listening and he's collecting data because you said, "Oh, I want to get married and I want 2.3 kids and I want to live in Alpharetta and I want a white picket fence." So the next time you see him, he says, "Oh, I was up in Alpharetta and I saw this house with a white picket fence." And then she said, "Oh, he the one." He's just saying that because you gave him way too much information. You didn't gather any information. And now you're thinking he's the one. So you've let your guard down. And he knows it. So he continues to feed you what you've already told him. He's not the one. He's just giving you back what you said. And so women have to learn, you disclose at the level he's disclosing. But women think, oh no, I need to let him know what I'm looking for. No, you don't. No, you don't. You disclose at the level he discloses. And you ask questions. And women are afraid to ask questions. And you don't necessarily interrogate. I'm not saying that, but you have a dialogue where, again, you are gathering information. Well, tell me about how you grew up. You need to know about his family. Does he like his mama? Another red flag, and I know, we are Christians, but when a man refers to his mother as a B, that's a problem. That's a big red flag, and you need to run. But instead, oh, he got issues with his mama, but I'm gonna make him love me. No, you're not, because he don't like women if he has issues with his mother. He doesn't like women. If he can refer to his mother as a B, he doesn't like women. And more than likely, he is abusive to women. So again, ask questions. Yeah, ask questions. Gather data. Oh, yeah.
So we need to become more, listen more. We need to gather data, and we need to pray.
Mm-hmm.
We need to pray and be discerning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you feel it in your gut, but you dismiss it. Because he said, only feeding back again what you gave me, that he was up in Alpharetta. So he wants to marry me because I told him about Alpharetta. He was up there looking for a house. Really?
Reverend Pitts says, stop ignoring the red flags. Yeah. So, counselor, when you ignore the red flag, what is that saying about you? That you're desperate, that you're thirsty, that you're insecure?
And you're not wise. You're not using wisdom. That's what it's saying. You're not using wisdom, because red flags mean stop. And one of the things I give, in this is individual counseling, I have a list of red flags and I got a list of green flags. And when they're talking, I said, now, which one does he have the most of? The red flag. Well, what does that tell you? Because there are red flags, but there are also green flags. And so you have to use wisdom.
I like what Denise says. As my grandmom used to say, don't be putting all your business out in the streets. Yeah.
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 Yeah, because he takes that information and uses it, and you let your guard down. And you don't pay attention to the red flags. You justify his quote unquote bad behavior sometimes. Make excuses for his bad behavior. Rationalize his bad behavior. Those are all forms of denial.
Because you really haven't done the deep inner work for you. You haven't taken the time out to find out what's really eating at you. Where do you need healing? What causes you to tell all your business without listening and asking questions? Are you desperate? Why are you desperate? Because you were abandoned, because you were abused or neglected or rejected? Then you have to get healed. Too many times we as single women look for the healing in the relationship, but you got to go in whole. You got to be
Yes.
healed first.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect the man to be your healer. And so you got to take this time to do you and to love you. Because when you are really comfortable in your skin and you don't have to just run your mouth to hear yourself talking, that you have ears to hear, and slow to speak, you are a wise woman. And you'll be able to discern the
Yeah.
real man from the fake man. Sometimes experience can teach you when you've been, neglected and rejected and abused and manipulated and controlled. But we want to save our daughters the heartaches.
Yes.
We want to be role models. We want to teach the word. We want to set standards, godly standards. And there is, for the woman who desires to be married, I do believe that there is a man for her. He might not be in your town, he might not be in your city, he might not be in your state. You may have to move and relocate, but don't ever give up hope and settle and compromise and give your good thing away for free.
Right.
Everything costs. Don't give away your youth and your beauty for him to walk away after you've had 4, 5, 6 kids for him and to leave you and marry a woman and give her a ring and a boat and a yacht. I'm thinking about that movie. Somebody help me and post it in the, it's a Tyler Perry movie where the young woman met him in college and she footed all of the expenses of his dreams, and they was broke and just really struggling. Then he finally sold his idea. He got millions and millions and millions, but the relationship
Diary of
had
a
ended.
Mad Black Woman, I think, wasn't
And
that?
it's another one. That's a good one. What's the one with somebody help me? Where she went crazy because he married some she divorced him, he married somebody else, and she got the boat, the ring, the high-rise apartment downtown. Come on now, Acrimony.
Is that Waiting? Oh, could have been.
Acrimony. Somebody help me. Don't nobody watch that movie but me? I done watched it on reruns and replays. But
Waiting to
anyway,
Exhale was like that, kind of had that same
yes, yes.
storyline.
It's by Tyler Perry and Katinji Tai. What's that actress who deals with mental health?
Taraji, Taraji
Taraji.
Henson.
She starred in it.
Okay.
So don't make the investment without getting a return. I'm just speaking nice tonight. Don't make
We
the
have to.
investment without getting a return.
We have to walk in our queen consciousness and realize we're queens. And queen consciousness means that there is a level how you think and how you show up and how you act. And we don't do that. We don't do that. We don't show up that way.
That's right. You need to develop you need to have something, create something, my love, about that queen consciousness. And yes, Reverend Pitts got the name of the movie, Acrimony.
Okay.
I mean, he hit it big. He hit it real big after she had invested, several $100,000. And that's it, Shelby, Acrimony. And at the end of the story, she really had a complete mental breakdown, and she went to kill them, the new wife
Oh yeah,
and
on
her
the
former
boat.
husband.
I
And
have
she
seen
ended
that.
up
I think I just saw the end of it.
she ended up falling off the
Yes,
boat.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. I did
yeah,
see that.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but
Because
to
sometimes you have to hold on and hold out. It's a personal decision that you have to make. But her sisters was in her ears, and just when he was about to turn it over into the millionaire status is when she divorced him. So
when he
we're
divorced
gonna talk.
her.
She divorced him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she divorced him. She was played out of position. Her two sisters kind of talked her through, you should have enough of this. Get rid of him. He's good for nothing. She listened to the voice of other people because she really did love him. And shortly after the divorce, the multi-million-dollar deal went through.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he was divorced. He didn't cheat on her, but she did invest in his dream. So the return, the big payoff, went to the second wife. Everything that he promised the first wife, the big diamond ring, the high-rise apartment downtown on the top floor, the penthouse floor, the yacht. So they got married on the yacht. She had the ring, she had the man, and she had the million. And the star of the show just went berserk.
I saw the end, the scene on the boat. I remember that. Yes. Yeah, she did.
So we're about to bring this to a close. Candee, how can people get in touch with you? How can they set up appointment with you?
Okay. I am a virtual counselor, so you do not have to be in the metropolitan Atlanta area. My sessions are virtual through a video platform. You can reach me at my phone number is 678-532-9760. Can I put that in the chat over here? And they'll
Are you
see it.
able to write it in?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. You can follow me on Instagram. My handle is Suddenly. The name of my company is Suddenly. I can put all that in the chat. Suddenly Professional Counseling. And my handle is Suddenly_Counseling. I can put my another thing I wanted to mention. You said when we were talking about Queen consciousness, and you stated I needed to have a program or do something with that. I have already created a 5-week series. It's called Be a Queen. And so I have not done it in over a year, but it's actually taken from Bishop R.C. Blake's book, Queenology, and powerful, powerful 5-week series where we delve into that book and talk about queen consciousness. And when you finish, you come out with queen consciousness. Absolutely. It's a really powerful series.
Thank you, Shelby, for posting Suddenly Professional Counseling. Yes.
And you can use this link to book appointments. Is that showing up on?
I don't see it. Did anybody else see the link?
Oh, you know what? I'm putting it in the wrong chat. Okay.
Okay. You're in the private chat.
Yeah, I'm in the private chat.
Okay.
But I don't see where to post.
Change it over to comments.
I change it to comments, but then I don't see the space to put something in there. But there it is.
Okay. Thank you, Dana.
Yes, thank you, Dana.
Okay. Say your phone number so Shelby can post your phone number.
678 532 9760.
Thank you.
678 532 9760. Oh, I could have been looking at the comments all night.
Thank you so much, daughter Denise from Seattle. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, Dana, for posting the phone number 678 532 9760. You can reach S. Candee directly and set up an appointment. We have the link as well. Thank you, Shelby, for posting. This has been real good. You know, if you like part 2, you can write in the chat part 2, and we can bring S. Candee back on, and maybe we can do a group panel discussion. But I want to thank all of you tonight for all of your feedback and sharing your comments. Much love to Reverend Pitts and Dana and Nicole and Minister Harriet and Minister Lolita and Minister Linda Jamila. Much love for just showing up and participating and keeping the dialogue very engaging and enriching. I mean, this is a conversation really for the entire year. And so take advantage of some of the specials that are being presented by our guest tonight, couple session. Tell us about that I see you. I love that concept.
I have 3 services for couples, actually. I've already kind of talked about the premarital counseling. And then, of course, I just have marital counseling. And for the month of February, I'm running a special for that. My sessions are, you get 3 sessions for $300. And that is probably, I don't know what percent off, but typically my sessions are $145. So you get 3 sessions for $300. You just have to use those sessions within a 30-day period. And then I have my ICU service. And ICU stands for Intensive Couple Unification. And one of the things I've learned over time as a counselor is that most of the time when couples come for counseling, they're really in a bad space. They're totally unable to communicate. They don't like each other. Anytime they come together for anything, it kind of just disrupts and nothing ever gets resolved. And so when you come for counseling, I'm seeing you sitting, you're sitting in front of me for 50 minutes once a week, typically, sometimes every other week. So when a couple is in that state for 50 minutes, I can't really do anything because they go back home and they do the same thing because that's the pattern that they're in. And understand that couples develop a pattern of how they communicate. So when they're in a very unhealthy pattern, I can't undo it in 50 minutes because they go back home, they do the same thing, they come back the next weekend, nothing has changed. And then they decide, well, counseling didn't really work for us. And it won't. So I developed a program called ICU, where I actually work with you for a minimum of 2 hours, but up to 4 hours at a time, because we've got to get to the root of this dysfunction and the discord and all the habits, because typically there's unforgiveness is there. Again, you're not communicating. So I spend that time getting you to a point that you can actually do counseling weekly. So that's what ICU, and I kind of use that acronym because, again, when it's critical, you have to enter ICU. And so I have an ICU that couples enter, and it's called Intensive Couple Unification. And it's very successful because I can get you to a point where you can actually do couple counseling.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
So this is a great opportunity for those who are seeking to be married, the premarital counseling. And don't wait till you say yes. Get in there now, and allow professional support to guide you so that you know that you're making a solid, trustworthy, quality decision, not based on how you feel, because
Yes.
feelings change.
Change.
They come and
Change.
go. You
Yes, they
can,
do.
feel like you, fluttering and on top of the moon, and the next day you be like, look, what was I drinking? What was I thinking? Was I really woke, or was I dreaming and having a nightmare?
Mhm.
So, let's get some real tools for real talk and real relationship and real love. So I am going to ask our guests for any final words tonight. I am feeling ecstatic about what we have shared tonight. Hopefully, it has made an impact. I know the comments have been vibrant and engaging. And this is a topic that we need to continue to have dialogue
Mhm.
about.
Mhm.
But for our final closing remarks tonight, and I see Minister Bernice Loman joined us. God bless you from Savannah, Georgia. God bless you.
Oh,
Welcome, my
nearby.
friend. Yes,
Mm.
yes. So, any final remarks, S. Candy?
Yeah, I would just like to say that we have to remove the stigma of counseling and know that counseling, it's okay to seek counseling. Lately in the news, we've had these celebrity suicides that have occurred, and we've got to get away from the fact of, well, I don't need to go to counseling, I'm not crazy. Counseling isn't for crazy. Counseling is to help you heal from emotional wounds, from losses, from heartbreak. When you break your leg, you go to an orthopod and he puts a cast on your leg. You may have to walk on crutches. You may go from the crutches to a boot, but you go through a process to heal. And so the same thing has to occur with your emotional wounds and breaks that counselors, professional counselors, social workers, psychiatrists, and psychologists. We're the clinicians that help you heal your emotional wounds, that help you to grieve your losses, to help you get over broken hearts. And so it's okay to take care of your mental health. We've learned through the pandemic that our health is our wealth, not our stuff and things. And so I just, admonish everyone to, check on your people, make it okay, give permission to seek services, psychological services. Nothing wrong with it. Um, I pray with you. You can pray. It's not Jesus or therapy. It's Jesus and therapy.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love it. And I love you. Thank you for your time
Thank
tonight.
you
Thank you
for
for being
having
so
me. It's
gracious.
been
Yes,
fun.
it's been an honor. It's really been
Thank
an honor, and I want to
you.
thank you. And this is really an excellent kickoff. Next week, we're going to have our very own minister, Harriet and Donald Ward, kick off a new monthly series entitled Relationships in Action. So
Awesome.
they are going to bring their expertise as a married couple of 25
Mm, awesome.
years to this platform to encourage, engage, to activate, to stir up, to motivate. You're going to get to see real love in action. So next Tuesday at 8 p.m., they're going to share their story and introduce you to what they're going to be bringing here every third Tuesday of the month. And so I'm
Mm,
excited, to have this kind of dialogue to
yeah.
continue, because the relationship is the cornerstone of the family, and the family is the fiber of our community, our
Mhm.
states, and our nation and our world. Relationships matter. And
Yes.
so we're going to take it to a new level next week. If you want to do a second part of this, let me know. Put it in the chat. We can bring a panel on of young sisters and let's get their perspective about, keeping it real, real talk, real love. And check out the specials. You can go to S Candee Facebook page, follow her on Instagram, and let's make it happen
Yes.
because love never fails.
Mm.
Thank you so much. God
Thank
bless you,
you.
Candy. Love
Thank
you.
you.
Be encouraged tonight and know that we love you. Shalom. Peace.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.